Hello everyone, let's continue our discussion on corona medications. If you have not watched the first part of the video series, I would request you to watch that first, where I have talked about remdesivir, and then come to this video. In this video, let's discuss about tocilizumab and favipiravir, while in the next video we shall discuss about corona vaccination, that is both Covaxin as well as Oxford vaccine. Now, just like the previous video, in this video too I am providing the link in the description below to all the top medical journals that I have referred to in making this video. As previously discussed, even though remdesivir has a significant role in decreasing the severity and bringing down the mortality in COVID-infected symptomatic patients requiring oxygen support, there are still significant number of patients who succumb to the illness in spite of getting this medication. Hence, remdesivir alone is not the solution to our problem and it requires more effective medications. Before getting into tocilizumab drug as such, let's try to understand what exactly happens in few COVID-infected patients which brings danger to their life. I would also request you to watch one of my previous video where I have talked about immunity and COVID infection to get better idea about what I am trying to explain. While vast majority of COVID infected patients remain asymptomatic, it is still unclear as to why few people develop different kinds of symptoms and complications. After an initial phase of viral multiplication, there will be an immune response by the body against the virus. Now understand this one word, cytokines. Now it's a broad term used for different types of chemicals that are produced by our body during an immunological reaction against a foreign invader. Now these are like different parts of the weapons that our immune system uses while fighting against an invader. Just like the example in that video, let's imagine the coronavirus to be the Chinese soldiers invading our country, that is our body in this case, and our immune cells are the Indian soldiers who are fighting against this virus. The only exception is that this war doesn't take place at the border, but it takes place all over the country, that is all over our body. Now during this, as the Indian soldiers fire their ammunition, there can be a lot of civilian death as well as property damage, right? So the same way, as these immune cells fire their cytokines, they can cause a lot of damage to our own body parts. Now this whole thing is called as cytokine storm. Now this cytokine storm especially can produce a lot of damage to the lungs, causing what is called as acute respiratory distress syndrome. And this on long term can cause permanent damage to lungs, causing fibrosis. As you know, the normal function of lungs is to help in gas exchange so that blood can be oxygenated. When the terminal minute parts of the lungs get damaged, resulting in scarring, they can no longer do this function. As more and more of the lung gets scarred, leading to what is called as fibrosis, the patient becomes progressively breathless. As these things happen because of the immunological response and not virus per se, it was decided to try with those drugs which alter these immunological responses, called as immunomodulatory drugs. So the initial trial was done with drugs like lopinavir, ritonavir, but they were not of any significant benefit. The topic of today, tocilizumab, is a monoclonal antibody. It acts against the receptor for one of the cytokine called as interleukin 6 and blocks that receptor. Now, tocilizumab was already being used in the treatment of these conditions. So, tocilizumab has got US FDA approval for as a IL-6 receptor blocker way back in 2010 only. It all began with a small study in Wuhan, China. It was tested in short time on 15 patients. As it showed promising results, it was then tested on a large scale in Italy. This study done in Italy is published in one of the subsets of the top medical journals, The Lancet, that is Lancet Rheumatology. This study considered all patients above the age of 18 years who are admitted due to COVID infection in a tertiary center at Bologna and Reggio Emilia in Italy between 21st of February to 24th of March, and in another tertiary center at Modena, Italy between 21st of February and 30th of April. all the patients were treated with the standard of care which was being practiced at that time, which included these. Now, a subset of patients also received tocilizumab to a maximum of 800 milligrams 12 hours apart. Now, a very important thing to note here is that the subset of patients who received tocilizumab already had a poor baseline lung function and more comorbidities. That is why they were selected for tocilizumab treatment. Results showed that 57 out of 365 patients of the standard care group required mechanical ventilation, while 33 out of the 179 tocilizumab group required mechanical ventilation. As you can see, the percentage of patients who required mechanical ventilation is more in the tocilizumab group compared to standard care group. But we need to understand this was not a randomized controlled trial, and tocilizumab was started in those patients who were already more sick. A very promising point here is that in spite of considering more sick patients for tocilizumab therapy, mortality was less in the group which required tocilizumab compared to the group which received only standard care. Frankly speaking, the study has a lot of statistical analysis which is very complex. But the take-home message is that tocilizumab definitely decreases the mortality in severely affected patients. And similar results were shown in other studies which were done in different parts of the world, like this, and this. Parent company information is as above. There is another drug called itolizumab, which is basically a CD6 inhibitor which indirectly decreases the production of cytokines. Now, this is manufactured by Biocon in India. Both these drugs, that is tocilizumab and itolizumab, are recently approved for the treatment of COVID-19 in India by the Central Drug Standard Control Organization, that is CDSCO. A very important point here which has triggered all the controversy is its cost. That's about 30,000 rupees per vial. Now, these group of drugs, unlike remdesivir, are what is called as monoclonal antibodies. And almost all the monoclonal antibodies are expensive for different reasons, like its production process, lesser yield, and the cost involved in purification, etc. And another important factor is that these group of drugs are relatively new compared to the other drugs. And just like any other medication, the new drugs are going to be expensive to regain the cost that is invested in the drug testing. Favipiravir is a prodrug which, when consumed, gets converted in our body to its active form, favipiravir RTP. It was developed in 2014 by Toyama Chemicals, a part of Fujifilm in Japan, as a treatment against influenza. It induces mutation during RNA synthesis by the virus, leading to production of non-viable forms of RNA and hence the virus. It was initially approved to treat influenza virus, and its license expired in 2019, and after that it has become generic. Favipiravir was approved for use against corona after its trials in China and Japan showed some beneficial effects. Glenmark Pharmaceuticals has got the license for its production in India, and it's available under the name FabiFlu. However, controversies do exist regarding the results of the trial, and I have so far not found it being published in any of the top medical journals. While its oral form and the rate of less than 40 rupees is definitely a positive point. However, amidst all these drug trials and medications, the hunt for an effective vaccine is still on. The latest news is that the Oxford vaccine has been successful so far in the trials, and that triggers some hope for the near future. More on that, let's discuss in our next video. Till then, take care, bye bye.